Hi, I'm Jo from Bouquet of Tumble. This afternoon I'm going to show you how to do a Halloween flower arrangement. Today you'll need a large pumpkin, wet oasis. You can get this from any shop, from Hobbycraft to your local florist, or even Home Bargains selling it at the moment. A bowl, a mixture of different textured flowers. So I've got roses, carnations and chrysanthemums, and the foliage from gladiolas. And then I've gone into the garden and I've picked loads of different foliages with loads of different textures. So I've got some sticks here, some conifer, and just some random leaves. And I've also found some crab apples in the garden at the moment. And on top of that you'll need stub wire. And this is just to wire up your fruit and anything else that you want to put into your flower arrangement. When you come to carve your actual pumpkin, we're going to use the bowl, and this is actually going to be sunk inside your design, and this is your mechanics. Everything is going to be built from this bowl. So when you carve your pumpkin, make sure you're not carving too much so the bowl falls through your pumpkin and it just sits perfectly on the lip of the pumpkin itself. I've carved out the pumpkin, as you can see. I've inserted the bowl, which fits perfectly on the lip of the pumpkin. I've soaked the wet oasis and I've attached it to the bowl with pot tape, which you can find again at Hobbycraft or any floristry shop. So now what we're going to do is start adding in the foliage. What we're going to do is build up the greenery, and then we're going to insert the flowers afterwards. So I'm going to start using them with conifer. This is a nice texture, it's quite bendy, and you'll be able to hide the mechanics in the bowl quite well. So first of all, I'm just going to start building up the shape. Always angle your foliage downwards, because otherwise it'll be sticking out all over the place. So all I'm doing is going around the entire design. Just a nice small layer first, angling it all down. So if you don't angle it down, you'll see the bowl, you'll see the oasis, and you'll see the hole in the pumpkin. And we're going to try and avoid all that. Okay, we've greened up the oasis, keeping in the shape that we're going to aim for a nice round shape. I've kept this side clear because that's where the lid's going to go back on. As you can see, we've used loads of different textures. Literally longer to shorter at the top, so it creates a nice dome effect. Added in all different bits just to give it more interest, and that's without any flowers added in yet. We're going to use the carnations just as a guide flower. It kind of shows a nice outline and it fills up quite nicely. So just going to start adding them all over the place. Obviously, if you want the whole of it to be covered in flowers, do it. It's your design. However you want to do it. So we've covered everything that we need to cover, and we just want to make sure all the oasis really is covered in foliage and flowers, so that when you look through it you can't see where the flowers are going into. Just make sure they're all evenly spaced out. You're pushing in the flowers, try not to take it in and out of the oasis, because the minute you start pushing the flowers into the oasis, it'll create a hole. Right, so we've added in our carnations, our little sprays. Right, what we're going to do now is add in, so we'll go for our roses. These are just tiny little headed roses. Just take off the guard petals. and then see where you can add them. You don't want to go in the same places that you've put all your carnations. You need to separate them all a bit. Your guard petals literally protects all the roses, so all these creased bits, they will need to come off, and it's how they get packed. Well, it's their natural packaging. That's all the roses and the carnations in. As you can see, it's all green and all orange at the moment. So what we're going to do is use a contrasting colour just to break it all up and make it come alive. And that's where we use our chrysanthemums. So we're using bright yellow. We're just going to remove the heads. Try and keep the length on the cuts at the moment. You can always take them shorter, but you can't make them longer once you've cut it. And use the longer ones, obviously, where you need the height. And the length. Right, as you can see, I've gone around the entire design now, absolutely filled up all the holes. I've added in some sticks for texture because we've got to make it kind of scary, and I've also added some little crab apples, and these are simply wires, double-legged wires with stub wire, and you can literally just push it into the design just like that, and these will stay in place. As you can see, every hole is now full up. And I've left this bit bald with no flowers because that's where the lid's going to go. So what I have done is put some stub wire through the actual lid of the pumpkin, and that should hold it in place. So we'll push it into the oasis. And then just move some of your apples and flowers just so it covers all the holes. There we are. See, now the lid's all on, and you can just turn your design around. Just make sure it's all flowy, there's no holes, all your mechanics is hidden. And because we've dealt with oasis and flowers, it's best not to stick a normal candle underneath. But what I have done on the rear, you'll see a little hole, and that is to insert one of these little candles, which is so cool. These are battery operated candles. Because it's a bit of a fire risk with the oasis inside, I'm going to use artificial lighting, which we'll pop in. Should create a nice little glow. If I turn off the lights, you've got the full Halloween effect. Like and share to see more tutorials.